Hey everyone, this is Tina McGlynn with another episode of Life and Stories. And today, all the way from California, I have Phyllis Pieri, who I know as a franchise lady, but I just heard that you're also an author. Phyllis, welcome and tell us about you.
Oh, thank you so much, Tina. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Yeah.
Yes, I had it's interesting how life happens, right? So I was taking Forbes Riley's pitch class, and then I took her master class, and I had always talked about wanting to write a book.
Okay.
And it just so happened that my accountability partner was a publisher. And after the first night of doing the pitch class or the master class, she said to me, she called me on the phone and she said, "Hey, I heard you talk about a book." And I said, "Yes." She said, "Well, we're publishing a book and I would love to have you be one of our authors." And it's one of those books where there's several chapters. So I'm chapter 12. And the name of the book is The Gift of the Universe Through Women That Lead.
I love
And
that.
isn't that fun? And so, but you have to understand, most people, when they do something like this, they have several months to work on it. I had like 1 week. And so it's like, and what was really fun about it is it's very typical of the way I do things.
Okay.
Because I am the type of person who always kind of shoots from the hip. I don't ask a lot of questions. I've always been willing to jump in and try. Why not? Right? Why not?
Yeah.
And so, but then when I agreed to do it, then I had to think about, okay, what am I actually going to write about? Because I'd never really, I actually am in the midst of writing another book right now, but it's another very interesting opportunity for me. But when I started thinking about this one, it was about women. And so I had to think about, okay, what are the characteristics that I have as a female, having been an entrepreneur my whole life? What am I going to talk about? And so it really was very introspective. And I had to really go back and really kind of be very thoughtful about what I've done in my life and why did I do them? And what are the traits that help me to do that? So the chapter of my book is From Lemonade Stand to Franchise Expert. And the reason we called it that is because literally at the age of 10, I decided that I wanted to have a lemonade stand. I happen to live on the golf course in San Jose, California.
Oh,
And I know, right?
nice.
So I said, we need to have a lemonade stand on the golf course because my church doesn't have a stained glass window. And my grandparents lived in San Francisco, and I used to always drive by the Grace Cathedral, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, why doesn't our church have a stained glass window? So I got my friends together, and we all worked at this lemonade stand, and we raised enough money. And this was in 1958.
You're not that old. Don't
Maybe
lie.
it was 60. Anyway, yeah, I am. Thank you. I know I don't look it. I'm very proud of that.
I feel like
Anyway, so-
pretty sure you're reading.
I know, right? But that's okay. Hey, I've got a lot of stories to tell.
Yeah.
But what was really fun about it is that I realized that, first of all, I accomplished my goal. We raised the money. The church does have a small stained glass window in it. It's a little Episcopal church. But I realized that franchising started for me just then because I took a bunch of people and we all worked together and we made it happen. So I come from a very entrepreneurial family. My grandfather was a cattleman. My other grandfather owned a cannery in San Jose. And so nobody in my world ever really had a job.
Yeah.
They've always had businesses and they always did those type of things. So it was kind of natural for me to do that. So when I started looking over my career, because I've been in franchising most of it. So I've owned a Sir Speedy Printing Center in downtown San Francisco, had that for 3.5 years, absolutely loved it. We moved back to Orange County and spent 10 years in the automotive industry. So I do have a lot of background in that. And then life changed for me and I was a single mom with 2 kids and ventured out into helping startup franchise companies. And then Sir Speedy recruited me to go back to sell for them. So when I was writing this book, I started thinking about what were the characteristics I had. One of them was willingness. I was always willing to try new things.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll try that. Sure, I'll do that. And then the other one was obviously having courage. And, I'm in the business today of helping people make a decision of whether or not they want to start a business. And
Which
to
takes
me,
courage. Which takes courage.
It does take courage.
Yeah.
And it does take tenacity and a lot of hard work. And so I think the reason that I'm so passionate about franchising is that you get the opportunity to get into business, but you're not by yourself. You've got structure around you. They're going to give you a proven system and training and support and all that stuff. So, but it's the willingness, it's the courage. It's, you hear the proverb where God keeps said, I'm bringing you blankets and boats, and you never jumped in. Well, you have to take a chance. I really believe when a door opens, you hear when a door opens or it closes, another one opens. Yep. It's the hallway in between that's the tough part.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but it's also the other thing that people have to realize is when those doors open, you have to have the courage to go through them. Because if you don't, we're sent here to have a mission. I really believe that God sends us here we're divinely inspired and we're supposed to be on this earth to do something.
Yeah.
Well, he's given me all the tools that I need to be able to be excellent at what I do. And I'm very good at what I do. I've just let it be the best kept secret in town. So I really believe it's important for people, if they have that yearning or that inclination to do something, they've got to go do it. Don't just talk about it. Don't just think about it. Jump in, take a chance, do it.
Do it. Yeah. Now, do you handle people just in California, or can you help people nationwide?
I work with people all over the country.
Great.
And what I love about Zoom is it used to be, so when I first started in franchise sales, I covered the 9 Western states, and I was an independent contractor, and I literally would fly all over the 9 Western states, meet with people, do my, instead of a webinar, I would meet with them personally, go through, my whole thing, and then converse with them on the phone. Well, when I moved from that to doing consulting like I am, I would very seldom ever meet people because I was dealing with people all over the country. It was kind of like a geography lesson. So, I would get leads via email. I would buy leads from the franchise portals, and I would look at the address and go, where is that? So, I'd have to do a little research to find out if the city even had enough population to have a successful franchise.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but it's been so much fun. I fortunately, over the last 18 years, have been to many, many cities around the country because I fly around and meet with my franchise partners to get to know them, to meet the team, to make sure it's a company I want to represent.
Great.
It's important to me.
So I hope you're allowed to say, what is your favorite franchise?
I would tell you that I don't really have quote unquote favorites, because for me, it has to be a company that first of all has a heart for the people.
Okay.
So one of the things that people don't take into consideration is they need to find out why the CEO is doing this in the first place. Of course, we all go into business to make money, but there are some CEOs that don't have a heart for the people. Okay. And so consequently, they're really in it for themselves. And that's not what franchising is all about. So I make sure to get through the clutter, that I only work with the franchisors that I know are quality franchisors that have the franchisee's best interests at heart. Okay. And I have a portfolio of about 350 companies. Okay. Now, through the pandemic, one of the things that we have seen a huge rise in is this service industry, because we're all home. Everybody wants to fix up their houses. They need to be painted. Kitchens need to be remodeled. The carpets need to be, there's just a plethora of businesses that you can get involved in. And pets, do you know that more people bought extra pets during the pandemic because they wanted to rescue them and they wanted to help them. And the pet industry is another one of those industries that is exploding. And I think besides fitness is a great opportunity. The big gyms are going to go away. We really see that happening. You're not going to see a lot of the big box stores. Okay. There'll be a couple, always a couple will survive, but the boutique fitness is really where people are gravitating to because they want community.
Sure.
They want to get to know the people and have camaraderie and all of that. So it's, and we're all taking better care of ourselves.
It's interesting because I'm thinking about my tax clients, and I have one that has a gym franchise boutique. I have one that just bought a franchise where he refinishes cupboards and cabinets.
Yep. Is that kitchen tune-up?
No, it's
Might be kitchen solvers. I mean, there's several out there.
yes, and one has a cleaning company, Jan Pro.
Jan Pro, yes.
And then I'm thinking one's daycare. I mean, it's funny. Now that I'm thinking about it, talking with you, Phyllis, and knew that you did franchise, I'm thinking about all these people. Of course, my one big one owns a couple Dunkin' Donuts, but I think they're going to get out of that and do something else. But I'm thinking mobile pet groomer. I mean, I'm thinking about my tax clients and realizing I have several actually that have franchises, and they're able to, walk in and have a model and not have to do all that heavy lifting, right?
That's right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so that's funny. I just thought of that.
See, and that's the thing that's so interesting about franchising is that people, I mean, I've been doing the work that I do today for about 18 years. And what I discovered is that most of the people, when they think franchising, they think food. Understandable, because that's what we see. However, so many people are not suited for food. And I did an interview last month, and I'm hoping the article comes out next week. It's franchise restaurant versus independent. And the lady that I interviewed has a business called We Sell Restaurants that is also a franchise. And she started out helping independent restaurants selling those. Then she had the franchisors come to them. And the dialogue we had was really fascinating because we talked about why they had franchises for sale. They were a food franchise, right? Everybody wants food. Why are they wanting to sell? Well, because they didn't work with someone like me that helped them to identify what it is they really wanted. And gee, how do you like employees? How many employees? What kind of employees? Yeah. Well, they get into a food franchise and they get sold. That's the guy's job, is to sell the business. And the guy's excited. He thinks food's going to be the answer to all. He gets in it and goes, oh my God, I had no idea that there were so many moving parts. And I didn't think about how many employees I would have. And I don't like hiring and firing people. So that's where my expertise comes in, because I make them. I don't force them, but I open their eyes to thinking about those things, and all of a sudden they'll go, oh, there's this aha moment, like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that, right?
Yeah,
it's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's like career counseling, right? You have to make sure
exactly
fit, because it's certainly different. Yeah, like you said, to have a food franchise as opposed to maybe a Sir Speedy where you've got product and the moving parts aren't as risky, right, as food, because food can spoil, food can be undercooked, overcooked, your employee, all that. So
and small margins.
Yeah, yes, that too, right? So that's interesting. It must be why the Popeyes keeps closing down the street from me.
Maybe.
Yep. Oh, like, what's going on? Oh my goodness. So would you say I don't know if you know this, but what's the percentage of franchises that go global? Are there some franchises that just want to stay in the USA, or is that based on maybe demand?
So part of it is demand. Part of it is part of their business plan.
Okay.
So it's funny you asked me that question, because just yesterday I connected with a lady, and I think I might have found her in Clubhouse.
Okay.
Anyway, so we connected, and she's from Iraq, and she would love to take a franchise home. And so I said, okay, but in order for you to take a franchise home, you have to, depending on the brand, you would have to buy a master. And a master means that she and her family would have to agree to take this brand and market the whole country. So they would be like a little mini franchisor.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that would work in the country. And she already speaks English, so that's one of the criteria. So there are some companies that's part of their master plan is to go global. There's other companies that no, I'm just going to stay right here until I get a footprint. Well, there's a company called Neighborly, and Neighborly just is relocating. They were in Waco, Texas. They're relocating to their new headquarters in Dallas. And I think Waverly now has, golly, I don't know, I think they're up to 24 if you take all of the brands together.
Okay.
And their goal, and I heard it, I was just on a call with them this morning, is to start reaching out globally because they have brands that you would recognize. They've got Molly Maid, Mr. Handyman, Window Genie, Rooter Plumbing.
Yeah, Rooter.
Yeah, it's Mr. Rooter, all the different brands. So their role is to come in and look, they really want to own the home. Okay, we'll come in and we'll remodel your kitchen and then we'll send the cleaning crew in and then we can do, so they can do all the different parts. So the franchisees, the benefit to the franchisees is they get to cross market.
Yes.
And then the franchise owners really benefit because of the huge buying power that Neighborly has. They do a lot of conversions. So if you're Joe Blow Plumbing and you're really trying to figure out how am I going to grow my business? And more importantly, how am I going to grow it? But how am I also going to exit my business?
True. Right? Yes. That's
so if you take Joe Blow plumber and he converts to a Mr. Rooter, now he's done two things. He's got better buying power. He's got a whole marketing department now that he can rely on. He's got other franchise owners with other brands that they can cross merchandise. And oh, by the way, when he's ready to retire, he can either pass it down to his kids or he can sell it. And now he has a brand that he's selling.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Pretty magical. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I do. Yeah, that's nifty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nifty.
Yeah, very well thought out.
Yeah, I do. I like that. So let's talk about how people can reach out to you.
Oh, thank you. So I'm really easy to find. Just type in the franchise lady and I'll pop right up.
Oh, yay.
I'm everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn. Just put in the franchise lady and I'll come up on LinkedIn. Connect with me there. I'm on Clubhouse, the franchise lady. I'm everywhere. So I have to tell you a quick story about the franchise lady. So I've been in franchising forever. And the first URL I had was Your Franchise Coach. And I've used that for a long, long time. So when I moved down here from Washington 2 years ago, I joined the Chamber of Commerce because I made the decision if I was going to live here, I wanted to work my local market.
Sure. Yeah.
So I joined the chamber and we have a weekly networking breakfast that we do. So I've been in the group for about 6 months and I got on a business trip because typically non-COVID, I travel quite a bit. And I got a call to go up and do some business up north. So I get back to the meeting that following Tuesday and somebody says, oh my goodness, Phyllis, we missed you last week. There was a gentleman here wanted to know about franchising. We're looking, where is the franchise lady? And I went, oh my God, I love it. For whatever reason, that name just resonated with me. And I said, you know what? I love that. And I just went on a total campaign to brand myself the franchise lady because it kind of fits.
Yeah, right? Somebody gave it because I love it. I do.
So it's been really fun because the other thing you don't know, Tina, is that I also can help people turn their business into a franchise.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And that's really fun. Like I was on the call today with a lady that's got a nanny service that she wants to turn into a franchise. And I was on the call yesterday with a gentleman that just finished signing all his paperwork, who is turning his pool table business into a franchise.
Oh.
No branded pool. So that's really exciting. So he'll repair them and he'll move them and really fun.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Lots of unique things out there.
No, my wheels are in motion. Motion.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Phyllis. And again, I want to reiterate because those of you that are listening on audio, you can go to my YouTube channel, Life and Stories, to see Phyllis's links. And it is, like she said, you can search the franchise lady, but I'm going to make it easier for you. And you're going to be able to click on some links on my YouTube channel. And so we can find her on LinkedIn, we can find her on Facebook, and of course, Phyllis and I are in love with Clubhouse.
Yes. So much fun.
Yes, click on there, and then of course, her website. So if you're thinking about a well-prepared business model that you can just step in with some money and be off and running, Phyllis is the franchise lady, and she's here for you. Right, Phyllis?
Thank you so much, Tina. This has been really fun. I really enjoyed the time with you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for listening, everyone. And again, this is Life in Stories and Tina McGlynn with Phyllis, the franchise lady. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.